progress.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November 5th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. First Selectman Colin Mullin, and call this meeting to order. If everyone could please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time, I will open up the floor to public comment. Is there any public comment in the room? I see one hand raised. If you could come up to the front and just state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, I'm Nina Rice, and I live at 116 North Stone Street. There's one house between mine and the property being used as a concert venue. First, I want to thank the Board of Selectmen for your unanimous support of the North Stone Street residents and for your public condemnation of the ongoing concert activity. Second, I appreciate the path to resolution. I know it's not simple. We've discussed the idea of a noise ordinance, though we all recognize that adopting and enforcing one would take time. As a concrete next step, I asked the board, zoning enforcement officer, and town attorney to review the evidence I've submitted showing concert activity at 148 North Stone Street from 2020 to the present. This record demonstrates that the property is being used not solely as a residence, which it is all it is zoned for, but as an unpermitted, unlicensed commercial entertainment venue known as Robbins Place. That evidence includes more than 40 pages of screenshots and links, such as YouTube videos of the hours-long amplified rock concerts at Robbins Place, and public advertisements listing Robbins Place as a summer tour stop for bands that on that same tour perform as far away as Alaska, and fan-posted recordings of full set lists from these shows. Most importantly, the documentation includes event listings on bandsintown.com, an event ticketing platform that explicitly advertises a $20 cover at the door, or $20 per person donation. Under Connecticut common law, once money is requested or accepted for admission to an event, whether a cover charge or a suggested donation, that event ceases to be a purely private gathering. It becomes a commercial or public entertainment event subject to zoning and liquor control regulation. The bad news is that this means our neighborhood has become an unlicensed Shamrock Cafe West. The good news is that resolving this issue does not depend upon a noise ordinance. It only requires investigation and enforcement under existing zoning and nuisance law. Thank you for your time and continuing to stand with the residents of North Stone Street.
All right, thank you. Is there any other public comment in the room? Any other public comment in the room? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment online? Any public comment online? All right, seeing none, we'll move to item 3, which is discussion and approval of the minutes from the October 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
This is Kathy Harrington. I move they be adopted as drafted.
All right, the motion has been made. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Item number 4 is discussion and reappointment of Alex Frazier to the Cable Advisory Commission for a term of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027.
Kathy Harrington, so moved.
All right, the motion has been made. Is there any discussion?
Just my hat's off to, he's done it for a long time and is very committed to it.
All right, please.
And my only question is, we're doing this today, did we miss this in the
Yeah.
summer?
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
And just for what it's worth on that, the charter reads that you stay, the members stay until a new member is appointed. So that's entirely appropriate.
Thank you. Item number 5 is discussion and approval to transfer funds from completed senior center capital accounts for senior center flooring project due to higher bid and refer to the Board of Finance. I have DPW Director Lee Corbett here. He sent us a memo that you guys received requesting funds in the amount of $2,730. He did highlight some capital accounts that are completed and have existing funds in there. Lee, thanks for coming. Just want to go over
Thanks for having
the
me.
issue, but it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's straightforward.
Anyone have any questions for him?
How come you had trouble getting bids?
Happens sometimes we get a lot of bids, sometimes we only get one or sometimes even none.
I mean, it's a pretty straightforward project, I would
Yeah.
think.
I mean, could be a lot of contractors are busy right now. There's all different reasons, you know,
That's too bad.
yeah.
Any other questions for him? No, entertain a motion.
This is Kathy Harrington. I would move that we approve the transfer of funds from the completed senior center capital accounts for the senior center flooring project due to higher bid and refer to the Board of Finance.
All right, the motion has been made. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you, Lee. Quick and easy.
I'll be here for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Thanks. Nice thing.
Item number 6 is discussion of resident noise complaint on North Stone Street. So I sent you guys, along with your board packet, a memo from Bill Hawkins, Director of Planning and Development. The question was posed to him why we couldn't do something through zoning regulations rather than a noise ordinance. To give you a little background, discussion, recommendations. There's also a legislative report in there from, I believe, 2014, separating out the differences between zoning regulations, ordinances, and I believe they had some case law in there. I did reach out to the neighbors after our last meeting. The resident in question had said they had never spoken to the neighbors, but were willing to. So I sent an email out asking if the complainants were interested in meeting with her, and they all said yes. So I put an email out to her asking if she was interested, and the response back was at this time she was not interested, but still would consider maybe at a later date, which really was more on the not interested side. So we're kind of stalled there. I think the question is, do we want to continue to pursue the noise ordinance? Do we have further questions? You guys received the draft ordinance that Attorney Donnelly and I have been working on. Paul Hawkins looked at it, the zoning enforcement officer has looked at it, police department has looked at it. So I'll open up the floor to conversation, discussion, see what you guys think.
Colin, I have one question. This is Claire Blanco. The summary that Bill put together, was that put together before the packet we received from the homeowners?
No, it was, yeah, so this was done before.
Okay, so the packet was received after,
Correct.
okay,
Yeah, so
okay, thank you.
Bill still has to go through that. I can send it
Okay.
to Attorney Donnelly.
Yeah, I question for Attorney Donnelly. If it's correct with that packet that they are charging, doesn't that change the whole sphere? That it's not now a neighbor having a little concert, it's now something that's scheduled and there's funds being accumulated by the owner in this case.
Real quick before he answers, we've been going through the planning and zoning attorney, Carl Landolina, for a lot of this,
Okay.
so he's not as up to speed.
Yeah, I haven't seen the memo that Bill wrote. I think just, you know, without having seen the memo or the packet of information that was submitted, but having heard some very informative comments, I mean, I think it would be appropriate for me to have a conversation with planning and zoning about this. I am not, we segregate in town the zoning attorney work from the general town attorney work. I also, in my private practice, do an awful lot of zoning work. For, not in Suffield, but in other towns. So I think it would be important to have a conversation with them and try to get an understanding. The short answer, after my long preface, is yes, if they're charging, if they're charging money for people to attend something at their residence, on a regular basis, I would say, generally speaking, that is a commercial activity that falls under a number of different areas of our own zoning laws. As far as concert venues and things like that. So I think there's certainly, there's also permitting issues that come into play. The points that was made about the liquor license, I think, is particularly important. So I do think there are some other things. So I mean, again, I have not been actively involved in this, but if you guys would like me to review that and have a conversation, I mean, I think it doesn't pass my smell test, let's put it that way.
So what we could do is get Carl together with Derek and get him
Yeah.
caught up to speed with what he's been advising Bill Hawkins.
I mean, I would like, this is Kathy Harrington, I think that's a great offer, Derek, and I appreciate it, and I would take you up on that, because my concern is this OLR research memo that was attached is over 10 years old. And so I would want to update, see, has the case law changed? But the case law that's cited in there seems to be favorable in terms of perhaps pursuing this more as like a nuisance issue and under the zoning regs, not, the quote-unquote preferred method of going forward with the ordinance, which we all know will take a lot of time and is not guaranteed to pass town meeting, even if we get it drafted. And at a minimum, I would also need a little bit more time to review the actual draft ordinance. I didn't have time to go through all of it. It was a lot. But I'm interested in seeing, with this additional information, can we do something through zoning?
It seemed to me that in reading Bill's note regarding regulations that, he felt it wasn't under planning and zoning at the time, but that was before we had some information, so I think that changes the whole, in some ways, it could fall under planning and zoning, and we certainly have regulations. about
Already in
what can
place,
take-
right, that can help.
Yeah, I guess I would, besides having the attorney, I would also ask Bill if he would now look at it in terms of the information that we've gotten since his memo, to see whether there's other actions we can take besides an ordinance.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they were familiar with the charging. I think it was just whether or not Carl and Lena said about proving that there was actually money being exchanged. Maybe that's something Derek and him could discuss further.
The other thing I wanted to just mention on the record, Colin, you sent us an email from one of the residents that had video footage, like audio footage, which I thought was very good, so thank you, whoever sent that, because that was very convincing for me. It just reinforced what we heard at the last meeting, especially the one from the person's deck, which is adjacent to their home. It was quite loud, and I thought to myself, if I had to sit here and listen to this every weekend, multiple days, multiple weekends for months on end, it's really, really, I think it just drove the point home, quite frankly, so thank you.
Yeah, it was clearly amplifying noise.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I don't want to speak for the board, but I think they will all agree with me that, if this was a one-off event, this happened once in a while, it was someone's birthday or a wedding, I don't think anyone really cares. That would be fine. But this has been ongoing for 5 years. And the packet that the resident sent us was, I thought it was from they must be an attorney or something, because it was lengthy and detailed and basically had, well, to my eyes, had proof that they were accepting cash for these concerts. Hopefully, planning and zoning can do this, can put a stop to it. But I think we should still plan on going through, let's plan on doing the noise ordinance, because I think hopefully concert season is ending soon, because it's getting cold out, and there'll be a break. And I think if we do a noise ordinance, we could probably have it done by the time the spring rolls around. And whether it passes or not, But I think we need to have a backup plan, and if we do have a noise ordinance, so be it. Hopefully, we'll never have to enforce it. But, you know, the fact that these neighbors don't have any recourse, really, I think it bothers all of us, and we need to do something. So I think we should just go forward with the noise ordinance, but more importantly, I think Attorney Landolina and Attorney Donnelly get together and see if they can come up with, you know, see how our zoning laws are affected here with this thing.
I'll plan to have a conversation, you know, Colin, if you can forward that stuff to me,
Yeah.
I'll plan to have a conversation with Bill in the morning. And then we can go from there.
I shared with Colin, and I've gotten a couple of calls. Apparently, there's been areas in town have held weddings, and not necessarily family weddings, but they've had people come in and pay something to use the property. It's along the same line. It's not certainly as regular as the concerts that we're hearing about, but it's in the same vein in terms of disruption and noise in the neighborhood. So I know that the Hathaway House used to do weddings, and I think they still do, but only if they're in the afternoon and they're over. And that's not by ordinance, that's just by being neighborly that they agreed to do it, but over by, I'll say 5 o'clock, I don't know what the exact hour is. So it may be broader than just this particular venue and the concert in North Stone.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, it's important to remember that our zoning regulations are
Yeah.
enforced through complaints. So I don't think they've heard any complaints about any weddings that I've heard of.
And that's too bad, because the point, Mel, that you raised goes to commercial ventures, right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily noise, but might be noise. So we would need the complaints, we would need them to file, but, yeah.
All right, so why don't we do that? Get Derek, Carl, and Bill together, and our zoning enforcement officer too, so they're all ease up to speed with
Yep.
where we're at. And then for the next meeting, we just continue to take a look at the draft ordinance. And I know Mel, you won't be here, so I can send it to our
Good
newest
luck.
board member. All right, is there any other discussion?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 7, update from the Permanent Building Commission on the Facilities Master Plan. I have Vice Chairman Len Nielsen with us to give us an update. And DPW Director again, Lee Corbett. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Really, we're just looking for an update from the last time we met.
Yeah.
Said, you know, maybe we'll bring you guys once a month.
All right.
So obviously things
How you
are,
doing, folks? I'll give you a bunch of fast bullets here. I'll talk kind of slow so you understand. From the last time we were here, just an update, we're in the process of putting glycol in the heating system at the high school. That's been all flushed with a cleaner. That system's up and going, okay? We just received the invoice. This is the second invoice from our friends at Carrier for the rooftop units, as you're well aware. There was 18 units supposed to go on, 8 went on. So, with that said, they're at Summit Crane. Our clerk of the works, myself, and Kevin Goff will be going down the November 18th, okay? We have all the serial numbers, we're gonna take pictures, and I gotta make sure DAS requires that lot be bonded and those units insured, okay? So, there's gotta be access, because the state pays for stored materials. So, we're gonna make sure all that's cleared up before we give them a dime of money, okay, on that invoice. All right, I called them the other day, I said, listen, if you gotta cover insurance, it's up to you, we're not covering insurance, okay? Okay, middle school, the other day, what was it, Tuesday?
Yep.
We opened bids at 2 o'clock up in Collins' office, and this is for the ed spec going forward. And this architect will be doing the ed spec for the middle school, and also hopefully doing some renderings or whatever to get us to the finish line here next, the 26th of, year 26, well, next November,
Yes.
for a referendum. So, we had 6 bidders, 1 was disqualified. Tomorrow evening here at 6 o'clock, we're gonna interview 5 firms, okay? This is for the ed spec, okay? After we did the bid opening, a group of us, including the gentleman Colliers, who's a registered architect, you were there, Lee, myself, the superintendent of schools, and, was it Larry Plano was there. Bottom line is, we walked about close to an hour and a half, and the bottom line, he said, is this school's got a lot of good bones in it. You interpret that the way you wanna interpret it. So with that said, as you know, there's a school in Enfield that I basically completed prior to retirement here a year and a half ago. It's JFK on Rafferty Road. We have a tour set up for Board of Selectmen. He wants to come, it's December 3rd, around 2:30 in the afternoon. Okay, you see where this is going, guys, okay? All right, let's see what else we got.
Have you guys done any work on the firehouse?
Yeah, let's see. The other thing is, on the high school, as you know, the slope roof, the shingles were coming off, so we opened bids the other day, I believe, on that for architects, okay?
Yes.
And I wasn't present for the bid opening, but I got an email today, there's some questions from certain people that bid it, and I guess I gotta dive into this one, okay? So as far as the firehouse goes,
So the firehouse, we have the RFP's been written, it's been sent out to all the members of the PVC for them to make comments. Comments are to come back to me by this Friday, for us to edit anything else further on the RFP, and then get it out by next Tuesday at the latest.
So these guys are where the RFP is for.
The firehouse, for
What
the
is
same thing we're doing at the middle school, we separated the two
we
projects.
broke them out, we just figured we have, you know, one guy that specializes in firehouses, and hopefully tomorrow night we select a gentleman that's really engrossed into schools, you know, so. So that's, we've been very busy.
We also have a draft contract for the middle school architect, which has been sent out to be signed, so should be getting that back signed soon. And we should-
Yeah. Any questions, folks?
How about the auxiliary building where they want to put a special program, special ed program in?
Right down here?
Yeah. that's
Yeah, I
what
just
they
asked the superintendent of school the other day how he was coming with it, and, it's in his hands, I believe they had an architect draw some,
I think they have Tecton.
they had Tecton draw some plans on it, so. You know, when that comes alive, we're gonna attack, right?
Absolutely.
You know, so, that's what you gotta do with these projects, is hit them.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate the effort.
So,
you guys are
any other comments, any questions?
No,
So, we've
keeping
been
you
very
busy. Keeping
very
you very
busy,
busy.
so.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your
Thank
work.
you.
Thank goodness you're retired.
I know.
Huh? You're a hot ticket.
We wouldn't have your full attention.
I know. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, item number 8 is public comment. Is there any public comment in the room? Any public comment in the room? All right, I see a hand. If you could please stand up and state your name and address for the record.
Hold there.
Yeah.
I'm Richard Segal, 249 Fair Hill Lane. Just with regard to the noise issue, I think the other thing, if this is a commercial venture, based on what I've heard here, is the public health code. Both the Suffield and the state have interests in sanitation, food prep, if there is any food prep there, adequate, porta potties, toilets. The rules are pretty tight, and that would be another important venue to aspect to look into.
Appreciate it, thank you. Any other public comment in the room? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment on Zoom? Any public comment on Zoom? All right, seeing none, we are moving to item 9, which is selectmen updates. Just want to let you guys know there are Veterans Day ceremonies at the schools once again. I think this is the 3rd annual one. So they're at all 4 schools. You guys are more than invited. They're going, welcome to come. It starts at 8 and goes all the way up till 1 o'clock, I believe.
Can you
I
send
can
us
send out a
like?
schedule. Yeah.
8 AM or PM?
You're gonna be up at 8 PM? No, 8 AM. Connecticut Supreme Court on October 22nd denied the request for certification ending our years-long legal battle for the disposal order of Dexter, so I'm happy to announce that. We'll be discussing that tonight. And then I just want to take a moment, since it's your last meeting, to recognize Selectman Mel Shavitz and thank you for your years of service, not just here at the board, but at the education level. Now, before I turn over the floor to you guys, I just want to say, Mel, you're like one of the first people when I got into this job that I started talking to, and you and I are a perfect example of, I think, how opposing political parties should interact. You know, we often disagree on the phone, but we work together, we compromise, we each can say what we think, and it's, for me, I enjoy it. It's been a real pleasure. When you call me, I don't ignore it. In fact, I look forward to it when you call me. But no, it's nice to have a select board member here that I can work with the way I have. And, I'm gonna miss having talked to you every week.
I'll call you into rent.
So I'll turn over the floor to the other board member. I did have a proclamation for you, but my assistant's on vacation, so I don't know where it is. We'll have to get that to at a later date. I'll start with Kathy.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I just have a couple of things I just wanted to say. So, Mel, when you started out, I know our relationship probably wasn't like the strongest, right, between the two of us. We didn't know each other that well. But I have to say, like, organically over time, we just developed this really great, respectful, very friendly, collegial relationship that I do cherish. You've called me at different times, and I really appreciate that for different, when tough times have hit. We often see eye to eye, I feel like, from start to finish on a lot of issues, and the issues that we end up in a different place. At the end, with the conclusion has always been I would say almost always a respectful disagreement, which is the way it should be, and what I really appreciate. And one thing I'm going to miss is how you have a knack for always, like, when I think we're done discussing an issue, you have this knack to ask, like, a question. I'm like, that's a really good question, and no, we're not done. You're one of those that, I'm going to miss that, being able to cover all of our bases when we're looking at an issue and trying to make sure that we do the best thing for the town. So, and I think serving with you has made me a better selectman, so thank you, and good luck with whatever you choose to do.
Yeah, Mel, it's been an honor to serve next to you. I remember growing up in town, I knew of you with your involvement in the schools, and to be able to serve next to you this year has been really special, and it's just been a great learning opportunity for me with all the experience that you have. So thank you for welcoming me to the board and all the great conversations that we've had. And I really hope that you get some well-deserved rest going forward, and that you get some more time for yourself. You've dedicated so much time to the town, so I hope you get to enjoy some time for you and your wife now.
I don't know how Beth feels about that, but. No, it's.
Don't ask.
It's, Mel is not afraid of conflict, that's for sure. And he has I think, a wonderful moral compass. And when, he disagrees with our friends to the right here, he will call them out, and he consistently called them out, and he never backed down, and really stood by what he believed in, which is what all of us do. But Mel really did it to the best of his ability. But the thing that really stands out to me is the dedication that Mel has to the students and the kids of our community. Between the JRB is a small piece, but being a teacher, a principal, a superintendent, and now on the Board of Selectmen, that's always at the top of his list, is taking care of the kids and the education of our children. And as a parent of 3 children in town, thank you. Thank you for your decades of service to the kids, and you've made generational difference to the kids in this community, so thank you.
And if there's something you would like to say, Mel.
Yeah, I have a little, well, I did have something. I've besides the schools, I've been on the Board of Selectmen with 3 different first selectmen. And each of them brought skills to the table. They were clearly different where they were coming from and how they did things, but they each had their commitment to the town, as does Colin. You know, he and I, as he said, we often disagree on some issues, but we always talk about it. In fact, we laugh a lot of times about our differences, and I've been trying to educate them, but it's been a slow process. Yeah. We had a category like that in school, but I won't say that. But I would say to the board, it's been a pleasure. It's not always been easy. We certainly had our differences, but most of the time we came together. I think Kathy, you summed it up really well. Even if we started out at different points, we often found a common ground. And I would urge you to continue to do that. You know, Kathy Dunai is going to join to bring her into the fold and to try and work out those differences. And for the most part, it's always worked. But I would caution you, you know, I stood outside yesterday at an election, and a number of people came up to me and talked about the library. And I won't say what party they are, it doesn't matter. That's really been a bone of contention in this town, and it's never been. And I would urge you, because I know coming up in the near future, in meetings, you're going to be talking about appointments to the commission. It really needs to be balanced, and it's not balanced right now. And it's become a source of contention in town, and it never was. And you know, there's enough dissension in the country that we don't need it locally in that level, that it becomes personal, and it has, I feel. I have a lot of years to look back on with all this stuff, and I would urge you, really give some thought when you come up to reappointing or putting new members onto, particularly the Library Commission. The other commissions just seem to be okay. So just give it some extra thought, and with the idea of how do we keep the town balanced. And I just want to thank all of you for your help and your cooperation and your support. And I'll also speak to Jerry. Jerry and I certainly had our differences and often got a little heated, but you know, we could go out for a cup of coffee, and that's important. And I wish the town could do more of that, that we reach across the aisles. I wish Washington could do it. But I just want to say thank you for your words of kindness and support, and I wish you the best in the future, and I hope when they come forward with whatever the school project is, that we can afford it. So,
We know we're good at saving money.
yeah, you're good at saving money. Sometimes we should spend some money, but thank you for everything, and thanks for your words.
You good? Yeah, thanks.
Bye, Darren.
All right, we're back.
Progress.
Recorded. We're coming out of executive session at 7:56 p.m. There's no action on executive session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to
All
adjourn.
right. The motion has been made. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
What's the song from The Sound of Music? I do, you know.
Are you gonna sing it for us now?
Yeah, I was about
Sing it.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good luck.
So we're going on vacation now. Recording stopped.
Yes.
Oh,